Ancient Bloodline, Greater Wolfblood, High Fae Lineage, which would you choose? Most players think you can only have one. But what if a single infant was born with them all, without a single cheat code or mod? Welcome to the Completionist Guide to the Super Sim series and The Sims 4. For Queen Zero Sparks, absolute perfection isn't just a daydream, it's a requirement. We aren't just maxing skills, we are stacking every inheritable trait possible on a newborn because I can. Let the dynasty begin. I was going through a list of ideas for the newest expansion to the Super Sim trait list, and the dynasty leveling process is just tedious and boring. I thought maybe I would gain enough dynasty points in my royalty and legacy challenge, but I did not. I considered creating a family of vampires that just play chess all day, and then I remembered I have no time for that. There's an easier way. Okay, I wanted someone to be able to do this with a new save. So the land grabs have a dynasty rank 7 already, and you can also choose one of the other families that have a high ranking dynasty, and then basically write yourself into the family. So just drop into Kaz, and we need a full alien. And this is Maribel Landgrab, and the most important trait that we need to have is the Child of the Islands. Now you can pick any other 2 traits that you like, pick an aspiration, and then you can go to Edit Relationships and set Nancy as her mother. And we'll go ahead and set Jeffrey as her father, but yeah, she's an alien, so that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but that's what we need for this particular challenge. Oh, this is the daughter of Nancy and Jeffrey. I don't know. Does Malcolm look like he's Jeffrey's son? What do you think? Okay, so this is Courtney Landgrab. Okay, there's already too many people in this household, but we do have to have the dynasty leader loaded just for once. And we go to the dynasty perks. And I can't believe they didn't make you do anything, but you could just hit reset perks. And there you go. Select all of these. Okay, and now we have mental affinity, social affinity, physical affinity, and creative affinity. And then there's some other perks that are really good. Matchmaker and friends in high places. And that's all we have enough for? Well, okay. That's fine. Okay, now for whatever reason, these people do not start out as in the dynasty, so we will have to add them. Okay, now that we have added them to the dynasty, Maribel and Courtney will probably be moving out and taking a lot of the land grabs money with them. Okay, normally I put on ley line on these houses in order to have twins, but we're not going to do that this time because I'm actually going to keep these Sims in the game, and oh, no, you're cooking. Well, at least there is a smoke alarm. Let's put some fire extinguishers out here. All right, we also have a burglar alarm, and yeah, so I am kind of all over the place with this video. I wanted to make this video super streamlined and polished, but I just can't. Too many interruptions. My kids are always coming in, and I have no idea where I'm at. So I have this flow chart on my website or in my comment section of my YouTube channel for my post section, not my comment section. So in the post section, there is a flow chart, and I'm going to use that because that is going to help me here. So the next step is that we need to summon the island elementals and get them to join the household. Now for this, I am going to actually get 2 of them to join the household because I am using 2 separate lines here in order to get the alien species and the non-alien species. So we just summon the island elementals, and then we have to make friends with them. It's not necessary to be romantic, but we do need to be friends. And all you have to do is get a little bit of friendship with them, and then you can add them to Social Bunny and basically spam interactions. If they will interact for the first time and at least have a little bit of a positive relationship. Okay, now that Courtney Landgrab and is it Lena or Linani, I think, have become best friends. So we just need to ask the elemental to move in. Okay, finally, that took a while to pop up. I'm not sure why that took so long. Okay, so see how she is immediately not a ghost? That's all we need. It doesn't matter that she's also female and she's an elder because we can always have a science baby. Okay, so that gives us an elemental. And now for Maribel to get to know the other one. What is her name? Rara Who? Okay, so I know I am not saying these names correctly. I am sorry. Okay, before you ask her to move in, you do need to be in a normal chat with the sim. Otherwise, it does not work. Oh, this one did not turn back to being regular human. Oh, that's an issue. She's still a ghost. Oh, no. Okay. Well, as soon as I added her to the household, it was fine. I don't know why the other one showed up as not a ghost in the move-in screen, but she did not. So now we have 2 island elementals. So Maribel, our alien, is going to ask Rara Ture to have a science baby. And it's a boy. We're going to have Desmond Landgrab. Okay, and then I need you to get up, Courtney, and then go have a science baby with Laydani. Okay, we have another boy, Marquis, or Marquise. And a girl. We got twins. I don't have the on ley line. Fine. So we have Tanvi. Okay, Marquise and Tanvi. So should we go with both boys, or why are you both normal skin? Okay, well, hopefully they are. Oh, that's right. We only had one that was half alien. So Desmond is the half alien. It would be good if we could keep the skin color, but I'm not sure if we will be able to. Sometimes that doesn't carry on in the generations, but it does make it very helpful to have the alien baby with a different skin color. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is age up Desmond. All right, and now I need one of you to go bake a cake. Hopefully someone who's not too tired and has a little bit of cooking. Okay, which other child should we use? Maybe Tanvi? Okay, and then we immediately age up Desmond. And happy birthday, Tanvi. Okay, we're also going to age up the toddlers into children. And we age them all the way up to adult. All right, and of course they have, like true Sims fashion, the best outfits. Okay, since we are done with some of these Sims, now we're going to create a new household, and we will move out Marquise, which is the baby, Maribel, and Courtney, and the 2 Sulani spirits. And then basically that leaves us with Desmond and Tanvi. Okay, so we have Desmond and Tanvi now, and I went ahead and set some outfits because I hate looking at the townie outfits. All right, so the next step is going to be we need a werewolf, or actually 2 werewolves. Okay, I'm going to go to my hashtag charity codes and see if I can find some werewolves. We technically need 4, but I'm not going to be able to have all of these in the same household, so that might be a problem. Okay, I couldn't find enough werewolves under my hashtag, but luckily I have a bunch from Invader T and Many Faces of Jamie. So I just grabbed some of those and I'm going to change some of them into werewolves because they kind of look like they could be a werewolf. And then we have Jinx Redacted from Lurary Man. I'm sorry, I can't say that. But anyway, so this person submitted a bunch of them too, and Invader T submitted a bunch, and Many Faces of Jamie also submitted a bunch. So if you would like to have your sim potentially in a future episode of Charity Codes, submit with hashtag Charity Codes. I don't have a whole lot in here, but I do have some to choose from. Okay, luckily, Callium Cloister has the Cursed Bite ability, so we will not have to visit Greg this time. So we need to turn Tanvi into a werewolf. Hi, Tanvi. Sorry, you have to become a werewolf because it's just easier to get a dormant wolf that way. Okay, and also Desmond needs to become a werewolf, so Desmond, you are becoming a werewolf as well. All right, so our first generation, while they're becoming werewolves, they also have this mild social affinity, mild physical affinity, mild mental affinity, and mild creative affinity. And this is from being in a dynasty that has those traits. And we also have Sulani mana. Now, what does Sulani mana do? So Sulani mana allows you to click on your sim and select the Summon Volcanic Bomb interaction. And this makes a rock come down from the sky that is a fireball. Somewhere. Oh, there it is. It took forever. All right. So anyway, this, if you touch it, you might catch on fire. So you have to wait for it to cool down. And then you can also do the Gift of Sulani on a plant. And what the Gift of Sulani does is it increases the plant's quality by 1. So if it is a nice plant, it'll become excellent. And if it's a normal quality, it will become nice. Things like that. Eventually you can get it up to perfect, but you have to do that daily because you can only do it once per day. And it takes a long time, and there are better ways to do that. So it's not really that much of a benefit. But the thing is, the Sulani mana trait passes down to all of your sims. So you never have to get that trait again. And it's easy to have all of your descendants have that trait. Okay, while we're waiting for these two, I will also mention that Desmond is half alien. So since he is half alien, he will have the alien handshake, but only on sims that are also half alien. So see, she is not. And this half alien is guaranteed the first time you have a child with a sim that is normal and a sim that is a full alien. But after this, we're going to have to test the different sims and make sure that they are half aliens, because even if they get the blue skin, they're not always a half alien. And the choices for whether or not you want to take the half alien route or the Tanvi route, which is the non-half alien, is whether or not you want to be able to turn into a fairy later. Now, the way that I do this, Desmond will have a descendant that is initially a fairy when they're born. And so that's the only way you can be a half alien and a fairy, is if you're born that way. And what you will do is you will go through all of the life stages up until teenager and possibly adult as a fairy. And then you will need to complete all of the fairy aspirations first before you cure yourself of being a fairy to do the other occult aspirations. And then you will never be able to legitimately become a fairy again once that happens. And the reason for that is that EA just does not allow you to turn into a fairy if you're half alien without cheats or mods. So the only reason why I do it this way is because I like to try and complete this entire challenge without cheats or mods, because I feel like if you have to cheat or you have to use a mod, it defeats the whole purpose of the Super Sim. So the Super Sim to me is about completing everything in the game the way the game designers design the game. Otherwise, there's no point. Okay, so 2 of these Sims need to have a baby as a single parent. And we should really put them into the dynasty, but I think it doesn't matter because I didn't put the Sulani Bana or the Sulani ghosts. I didn't put them into the dynasty, and the children still got the trait. So maybe it doesn't matter if all of the Sims are in the dynasty or not. We will just take maybe Jinx, and what is the other one? Maybe Alan. I think Jinx and Alan were the 2 that I made a werewolf, and we will have them have a science baby as a single parent. And it's a boy. We're going to name him Dylan, redacted. Okay, now the thing is that I need Dylan to be a dormant wolf. So what I do is I save the game before the science baby happens, and then if I don't get a dormant wolf, then I basically have to reboot the game without saving. Oh look, and we got a dormant wolf on the first try. So Dylan is going to be one of our single parent werewolf babies. So we just need to age Dylan up to a young adult. Okay, now we don't really need Jinx anymore, so we will move her out. Tanvy's already transforming? Is it a full moon or something? Nope. Okay. Well, go here. I have a wolf room, basically. Hopefully she doesn't starve. Okay, and Desmond is transforming already. I thought this took longer. For some reason, they made it really short. Okay, Ellen Ryder, now it's your turn to have a science baby. And it's a girl. Her name is going to be Melissa. Melissa Ryder. Oh, Melissa is a greater wolfblood. Okay, well, that means reboot. Okay, our second try was a dormant wolf. So now we just need to age up Melissa. Okay, now that we're done with Alan Ryder, we move him out. Okay, so Father Winter is in the Manage Household section. If you sort by A to Z and look for all households, it's under the household called Father Winter. And you can move him in. And this also gets you 500,000 simoleons. So we will be moving him in, and that kind of cramps our household a little bit because now we have 7. But the reason why I'm doing that is because I need Clement Frost to get to the top of the noble career to get the Blueblood trait. Now you can get the Blueblood trait as an adult by reaching the top of the noble career, which the Super Sim has to do anyway, but I'm going to try and stack it on the infant as well, and at least one of the parents needs to be the top of the career. Okay, now it is time for the other ones to start having some kids. So let's start with the alien Desmond, who's scared because he has a fear of the dark. And Desmond, since he is a werewolf, he needs to have a child with one of the other werewolves. So let's pick Callium. And it's a girl. Her name is going to be Quinn Landgrab. Okay, Quinn did not get the dormant wolf trait, so reboot. Okay, the second Quinn is a dormant wolf, but since this is the alien baby or the half alien baby, we need to test that. Okay, once you get a teenager, have the teenager select the parent, Desmond, get out of bed. And if we can do a alien handshake, we cannot. Okay, so since under activities there's no secret alien handshake, that means Quinn is not a half alien, and we will have to try again. Okay, so this version of Quinn has the secret handshake. That took like 5 or 6 times. I don't even know. So yeah, we are going to age you up to an adult, and you are going to be the next generation. Okay, that means we do not need Desmond anymore. Okay, now for the non-half alien side, we are going to have Tanvi and Lawrence have a baby. And it's a girl, and her name is Tanisha. And of course, this baby needs to be a dormant wolf and was not a dormant wolf. So, rebooting again. Okay, now we don't need Tanvi or Lawrence anymore. I'm still keeping Callium because he's the one able to turn people into werewolves. So yeah, here is our lovely girl Tanisha, and now we can get started on the next generation. What we got this generation was the dormant wolf with the moderate of all of the physical, social, creative, and mental affinities. Okay, now we need to turn Dylan and Melissa into fairies. So we're going to research on the computer how to become a fairy. And so Dylan is going to purchase a fairy seedling off of the computer, and then we will plant it. Okay, Dylan plants the seedling. And here's Mother Nature. Okay, Mother Nature, can we please turn me into a fairy? Stop chatting, Dylan. Okay, now we have the buff, and we have to go to the lake in Innisgreen in order to turn into a fairy. Okay, Melissa Ryder is going to become our second fairy. Okay, and she drinks the potion as well. Okay, for later in the episode, we are going to need Clement to become a fairy, so I'm going to go ahead and have him research how to become a fairy as well. And then we're going to have Callium bite Clement Frost. And sorry, Clement, you are now scheduled to become a werewolf pretty soon. But before he becomes a werewolf, we need to have him plant the seedling. And then he asks for Mother Nature's charm as well. And she gives it to him, and he drinks it right down. So now he has the ability to become a fairy, and yet he's also going to become a werewolf pretty soon. Okay, luckily Clement is scared, so he's actually jogging. This man always walks everywhere, but because he's scared, he's running to become a fairy. And we have the transformation. Clement Frost is now a fairy, and soon to be a fairy werewolf. Although we do have to have him hide his fairy form, because if you do not do that when he becomes a werewolf, it will glitch out. So make sure you hide the fairy's form if they're going to be a werewolf as well. Okay, your turn, Melissa Ryder. She's just going to be a fairy, so it won't matter that she has her fairy form out. Okay, last but not least, we have Dylan. And Dylan is now a fairy. Oh, I like your wings, Dylan. They match your hair. I think Melissa got perfect wings that matched her as well. I don't know, is that a coincidence? All right, now that we're back home, we're going to have Clement Frost join the noble career. Because you, sir, are going to be king. Okay, both Quinn and Tanisha need to become spellcasters. So they're here in the magic realm, and we're going to ask Morgan to turn us into a spellcaster. All right, so he gives me the site, and then I have to go find the moats. Here you go, Morgan. Now can I become a spellcaster, please? Alright, and now we have our dormant werewolf spellcaster. Okay, and Tanisha does the same thing. She becomes a spellcaster as well. And we have two now. One of them is the half alien and the other one is not. Okay, while I was out, Mr. Fairy became a werewolf, but he's not transformed. I'm not quite sure why. And his needs panel is all messed up, but I kind of expected that a little bit. So we will have to hopefully have him, I guess, maybe he will be able to get some ability points. No, I can't do anything for him. All right, well, I'm not sure if Clement is just glitched now. It seems like he's not actually rampaging because he can do normal tasks. Okay, well, that's fine for now. Okay, I managed to unglitch Clement by playing another household and having, what's his name, Christopher come over here. I was going to have him pacify Clement, but it said his fury was in the normal range. So basically that cleared the glitch. Hopefully Clement is still a werewolf. It's hard to tell because it went away. Oh no, he's still a werewolf because he has this weird action bar or whatever, or needs bar. So you can see his fairy emotional force, and then it's like this thing is overlaid on top of it. So you can access all of the fairy abilities, but none of the werewolf abilities. So I need to get Clement up to level 10 swordsmanship. And then he also needs to reach the top of the noble career. And I might do that by cheating since I have so much money. I'm just going to align myself with the commoners as much as possible. But I also need swordsmanship level 10 to go pull the sword from the stone. And that will automatically make him level 10 of the noble career. Okay, let's start with the easier of the two this time and have Tanisha ask Dylan if they can have a science baby. And it's a boy named Carl. Okay, it looks like Carl is a werewolf and he has a weak bloodline. So probably not what we want, but let's check. Okay, as Carl ages up into a teenager. Alright, we look at his traits. So he is a werewolf, he is a spellcaster, and a vampire. So we did not get the fairy, which means we have to start over. Okay, this Carl is a fairy, and a werewolf, and a spellcaster, and somehow a vampire. Don't ask me how that gets into the mix, but I think this is who we need. Now, as soon as they age up to a teen, you do have to hide the fairy form, because otherwise they will glitch your game. All right, I did happen to get twins, so unfortunately we also have a Kyle. And Kyle needs to be aged up so that I can cure him. Okay, the first thing that we will do is go to the magic realm and ask her to perform the rite of disillusion. This will make your sim not a spellcaster. And the reason why we do this is because hybrids are glitchy, and I'm going to allow these sims to remain in my game. So he's no longer a spellcaster. Now we need to either cure him of being a werewolf or a vampire. He's not a fairy, so he doesn't have that one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get rid of Tanisha and Dylan, because they've had a child already. We still need to have a child between, I think it's Quinn and Melissa. Finally, I can make a wolf be gone. Okay, Kyle, drink the wolf be gone. No longer be a werewolf. You will just be a vampire, which is fine. Okay, now we're going to ask Melissa Ryder and Quinn to have a science baby. And we have a boy named Cash. Okay, and we have a fairy, werewolf, spellcaster. Oh, great. We don't have a vampire. So, fairy, werewolf, spellcaster on the first try. However, we do need to check with Quinn and see if we have the half alien trait. So, fingers crossed. We do! Secret handshake. Okay, that was the first try. And it took me, I don't know, it was at least 10 tries for me to get the other one. So that's good. I didn't want to have to do that over again. So we need to immediately conceal his fairy form because he will mess things up if you don't. Okay, now we can get rid of Cash and Melissa. No, wait. Quinn and Melissa. Okay, so we have to keep Cash. Okay, so with these two, what we got is a strong social affinity, strong physical affinity, mental affinity, creative affinity. So now we have all the strong type. And oh no. You're transforming. All right, so you go into the panic room. All right, well, as I was saying, we have all of the strong affinity traits. Now we have weak bloodline because they are casters. And he just happens to have greater wolf blood, but that doesn't really matter. The point is these Sims are now fairy, werewolf, spellcasters. And one of them, which is Cash, I believe, is also a half alien. So the next step is we need to summon Grim. Now, I use the Grimophone. You can also kill a Sim, and you can use some other methods. I can't remember how else you can do it, but the Grimophone is the easiest if you have access to it. All right, you're also a vampire. Well, you might need to go back inside after you introduce yourself to Grim. Okay, we'll start with Carl, which is the easier one because we don't have to worry about half alien. So, will you have a science baby, Grim? Sure, why not? And we have a girl named Kiara. Happy birthday, Kiara! Okay, so Kiara is a fairy, a spellcaster, and not a werewolf. However, she happens to be a dormant wolf. That's actually perfect. You prefer the dormant wolf. So let's hurry up and conceal her fairy form before she glitches my game. Okay, so now we have the Grimborn trait. Now, Grimborn, unfortunately, does not pass down to the next generation. It becomes Descendant of Grim, or Grim Descendant. I can't remember which one. And this trait only makes the Sim last longer as an elder or have a few more extra days at the end of their life. So it's not really that important, but it's nice to have something from the Grim Reaper. So Grimborn does have the tattoo. The Grim Descendant or Descendant of Grim will not have this tattoo and will not get the extra lifespan, but they do get the trait that is related to Grim. So the reason why I choose that one over Father Winter's Baby is because Father Winter's Baby can only be given to one generation and then that's it. And at least that one does something sort of useful. When you're completing these wants, you get more points from each want completed, which is also not really that important, but none of them really are that important. It's mostly about having something from each of the different occults. So now that we have achieved something from all of the different occults, we just need to get Carl to have his child. Or no, not Carl, sorry, Cash. So Cash is next. No, Grim, you can't go! He was too angry, and now he's probably too tense. Great. All right, well, there he goes. We will have to wait until tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Cash. Oh, I can just invite the Grim Reaper over to the current lot? You didn't used to be able to do that. Well, that's nice. Will he actually come, though? He will. At least he said he will. Oh, there he is. All right. Well, we can ask him to have a science baby now. Okay, we have another girl named... We already have a Tanvi, I think, in the family line. I don't want another Tanvi. Presley. Okay, that could be a girl or a guy's name, I guess. Oh, we have two. Okay, Laura. Okay, Presley is a fairy, a werewolf, but not a magic user. Okay, well, unfortunately, we cannot use Presley if she's not a spellcaster. She is also not a half alien, but that doesn't really matter. All right, now for Laura. She is a fairy, a werewolf, and that's it. So we got to start over. Okay, finally, we have the Presley that is a fairy, a werewolf, and a spellcaster, and also has the secret alien handshake with her father. So she is a half alien. You gotta be kidding me. All right. I wanted to bring these two to the magic realm to get them cleared of their spellcasterness, but I kind of forgot that Carl was rampaging. And then he decides to also drink Cash's blood. Okay. That's nice. Thanks, Carl. Now I have to wait that out. Okay, let's hurry up and ask for the rite of dissolution. Hopefully Simeon will give it to me, even though he doesn't like me very much. Okay, now it's Carl's turn, becoming non-spellcaster-ish. Okay, Carl, say goodbye to the werewolf. Okay, now it's Cash's turn. Okay, no longer a werewolf. Okay, I'm researching on the computer how to become a non-occult, but I think only Cash can do that. Oh, come on, you broke it. Okay, you should be able to order a seedling. Okay, Cash can plant the seedling, and there's no light out here right now because it's dark. But I cannot get a seedling for Carl because he's still a vampire. Okay, I guess I can make Cash not a fairy, even though that just turns him into a normal half-alien. Okay, so Cash is going to pour out the fairy essence and get rid of his fairy abilities. And he's going to become a normal sim. This means that I have to learn the vampire cure too. Oh, this one is okay. How come this one is not an empty glass, but the other one was? Well, I'm not sure why this one was able to be downloaded from the gallery when the other one was not, but the one that comes with the ingredients room, for some reason, is able to be drank. So Carl is no longer a vampire. Great. Okay, level 10 of swordsmanship. Clement Frost is going to go pull the sword now because he has maximum relationship with the commoners and he has level 10 swordsmanship. Okay, the way that this works is only one sim can have the sword, and I wanted to use this as my forever save, but I think you can return it once you pull it. So maybe we'll do that after Clement Frost is done with it. And here we are, pulling the sword from the stone. And Clement pulls it easily. Okay, so I guess we're going to ascend to Kingdom Leader of Oasis Springs. Clement Frost, all hail the king. And I love his outfit. Okay, I'm hoping this doesn't crash my game. But I want to set romantic boundaries to everyone is not jealous, because I have 2 Sims that need to have a baby with Clement Frost the old-fashioned way. Okay, so now we have Presley and Kiera, which unfortunately, because their father is the Grim Reaper, these 2 are sisters, and this family tree might be a little bit buggy now, because we had the land grabs, and then the families or the Sims that we added to the game, and unfortunately there's only 1 Grim Reaper right now. You can get multiple Grim Reapers in your save, but that involves joining the Reaper career and doing a whole bunch of playtime, so I don't have time for that right now. And so unfortunately these 2 are sisters, and their children are going to be also sisters or brothers. But it's all through marriage, okay, through having kids with the same father, not through inbreeding. Why is Social Bunny no longer working? I cannot do flirty messages and get their romance up for some reason, even after starting romance. It still works for friendship, but apparently it does not work for flirting anymore. Oh well, that's fine. This is working just as well. No! No! They're fated mates. That's going to cause a problem with the other one. All right. Oh, now Clement is not going to want to flirt with her. Oh, great. They don't like each other. Yeah, Clement is a little bit tense because he's a love bug. Sure, he can be a love bug. Anyway, so Clement is a little bit tense from flirting with someone other than his fated mate, but yeah, we have to do it from Clement's point of view, because if we try and do it from her point of view, it doesn't work. Okay, so that turned out to be not too bad. Oh, come on. You can't save Simcalibur to the gallery. I thought I found a way to cheat to make sure that I had a backup for that sword, but nope, you cannot save it. I wonder if it will show up if it's just on the lot and I save the entire lot. It looks like it's there. Okay, here we are at the museum in Brindleton Bay, and what I will do is go into build mode, and we will change this to on leyline because I need twins. It's just too hard to do this without twins. And then we go up to the lighthouse to try for baby. And the reason why we do this is because you get a special buff if you are conceived in a lighthouse. And then we will try for baby with Kiara. Luckily, we got 2 females, so both of them will be getting pregnant and Clement will not be. Okay, and then we'll take a pregnancy test, and because she has the fly here, we can do that very quickly. And did we get pregnant this time? Come on. Why is it taking so long? Alright, so we're eating for 2. That is Kiara. Okay, and now it's Presley's turn. And she's eating for 2 as well. Alright, so that's it for now. Okay, while your sim is pregnant, you can eat strawberries in order to have a girl and carrots in order to have a boy. And what you can do is just eat 3 of each, or, well, 3 of either one, in order to pretty much ensure that you're going to have the one that you want. Okay, one of our Sims has gone into labor. It's Kiara. Now, which one are you? I completely forget. Okay, so Kiara is not the alien. So we don't have to check for the alien handshake, but we do need the greater wolfblood. So we select to have the baby. Oh, and we have a dynasty selection thing? I don't remember that. Maybe it's because Clement is not in the dynasty? Well, I have not had that before. Okay, so we have a girl. We're going to call her Jalisa. And another girl, April. Okay, and as soon as these kids are ready to age up, we have to see if they have the correct traits. Okay, so Jalisa is a greater wolfblood. Look at that right away on the first kid. So she has ancient bloodline, grim descendant, Blueblood, Father Winter's baby, greater wolfblood, and then we also have the strong mental, social, physical, and creative. And then, of course, high Fae Lineage and Sulani mana. These are all of the traits that you can possibly get on an infant. And we're going to go ahead and age up the second one and see if we get two of them. And no, April is not a super sim. And the reason for that is because she's missing the werewolf trait. She is not a greater wolf blood. Okay, we are just waiting now on Presley to have a baby, and Presley's a little bit more difficult because she needs the half alien trait. Okay, here we go. Oh, we have a boy, and his name is Jacobo, and another boy, Chadwick. And no, we got 2 dormant wolves, so we'll be starting over. And by start over, I of course mean just reset the save to the last time when she hasn't had the baby yet. So it has to be before the babies are born. But I save when she's in labor because that is a really long process. I don't want to wait 3 more days for more babies. All right, on the second try, we got someone with greater wolf blood. And if you go to the parent, which is Presley, go to friendly and activities, and secret handshake is present. So our other super sim is going to be Chadwick. Yeah, some odd choices in clothing and makeup, but we will fix that. So what I do is then age all of the super sims up to adult. And the reason for that is I want to cure their occults. Okay, now that everybody is aged up, it is time to cure everyone. No, Callium, you cannot go to sleep. You need to make a whole bunch of drinks. Okay, after we cured everyone of being a werewolf, we took everyone to the magic realm and cured them of being a spellcaster. Typically, the spellcasters will have a glimmerstone in their inventory, so that's how you can tell which ones are spellcasters. Now everyone should just be a fairy and nothing else. I didn't have any vampires, so the ones that were dormant wolves did not need to be cured of their werewolfness. No one was a vampire, thankfully. And then we cured everyone of being a werewolf that wasn't a dormant wolf, and we also cured them all of being spellcasters. Now, you can leave them as a fairy if you want, or cure them. If you are, oh wow, that is a big book. Anyway, if you have the one that is a half alien, you need to leave them as a fairy because they will never be able to plant the fairy tree to become a fairy. They can only clear it. So what I do is I leave Jacobo as a fairy so that he can do all of the fairy aspirations first before he gets rid of his fairiness. Or not Jacobo. Jacobo. Okay, so it was Chadwick. Chadwick was the one that had greater wolf blood. So he will be staying a fairy, and we will not cure him until he finishes all of the aspirations for the fairies. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cure everyone of being a fairy except for Chadwick. Okay, we're going to return the sword with Clement so that hopefully someone else, like Theodore or Pandora, can claim it again. Okay, here I have the two mothers, Kiara and Presley, and we are going to save them out with the two super sims, Chadwick and Jaleesa. And we'll call this Super Sim Adults. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to delete Jaleesa and Chadwick, and then we are going to go to our gallery and the library. And you have to sort this by newest because the Sims have changed the default sort by. It's now sorted by most popular instead of newest. And we're going to place these four Sims back into the household. Okay, and then I'm going to get rid of the new Kiara because I don't need that one, and the new Presley. And then that leaves me with the new Jaleesa and Chadwick. And those are the Super Sims. So since I've re-imported them back into the game, I can then set them back to an infant. So now this version of Chadwick is an infant and his mother was Presley, I think. Well, his mother is now going to be Presley. And then I will do the same thing with Jaleesa. And then Jaleesa's mother will be Kiara. Okay, and there we go. Charity Codes Super Sim Final. Super Sim, Blueblood, Strong Affinities, Ancient Bloodline, Sulani Mana, Greater Wolfblood, Father Winter's Baby, Grim Descendant, Conceived in a Lighthouse, and Chadwick is also fairy and half alien, while Jaleesa is non-occult. And so this will be up on the gallery if you don't want to go through all of this trouble. If you want to split them up, that's fine, but right now I just put all four of them in the same household. And then don't worry if you're missing some of the packs, you can still download this, and let's say you don't have werewolves, well, they will still have all of the other traits. They will just be missing the werewolf trait. And if you don't have the packs I used for the outfits, that's also fine. You can still download that. You will just have to add the outfits that you're missing because they will be naked. But it really won't matter if you don't have all the packs. Okay, so let's go over all of the different traits we have. Greater wolf blood, from having werewolf parents and a bit of luck, the moon has blessed Jaleesa with a greater wolf blood, enhancing their werewolf growth. Talk about high expectations. Basically, this allows you to gain werewolf experience faster. And then we have the strong social affinity. At least one of the Sims parents had a moderate social affinity trait, and they will have stronger improved skill gain in social skills and experience better results when using social skills. Ancient bloodline. At least one of the Sims parents had a stronger ancient bloodline trait. Sims with the ancient bloodline trait gain an additional talent point at each spellcaster rank to spend towards perks. They also gain spellcaster experience faster and reduce the chance of overloading by 50%. This is probably the best trait out of all of these because it prevents you from dying and you can cast more spells as a spellcaster. And then strong affinity. At least one of the Sims parents had a moderate creative affinity trait, and they have stronger improved skill gain and creative skills and produce better results when using creative skills. Grim Descendant doesn't do anything, but it is something from the Grim Reaper. This will not pass on to the children. Father Winter's Baby, that gives you extra points from completing whims. This also will not pass on. Blueblood from the Noble Career, they will keep this trait because their parent was level 10 in the noble career, and it builds charisma faster. So this sim will not need to gain it as an adult, but you can still get this as an adult if you don't have it as an infant. Strong physical affinity. At least one of this sim's parents had the moderate physical affinity trait. They will have stronger improved skill gain in physical skills and produce better results when using physical skills. High Fae Lineage. Having fairy parents has brought a magical lineage that gives sim additional fairy experience gained from all sources. So you level up your fairy abilities faster. Strong mental affinity. At least one of the Sims parents had a moderate mental affinity trait. They will have stronger improved skill gains in mental skills and produce better results when using mental skills. Okay, so Sulani mana. This is the one where they can summon the fireball from the sky. And in addition to summoning the fireball, they can also improve plants, and that just improves the plant 1 level per day. They will be able to evolve it instantly without waiting for it to improve its quality. And then the last one, Chadwick, he can tell if someone is an alien or half alien, because if he goes to the friendly category and goes to activities and there's no secret handshake, that person is not a half alien or an alien. If you go to the mother and go to friendly activities, there is this secret handshake interaction, and it doesn't really do anything other than let you know who is either a half alien or full alien. And it's this cute little interaction where they can kind of secret handshake each other, and that's all it does, basically. So he has to start off as a fairy because, like I said before, he will not ever become a fairy again because he cannot plant seedling unless he's curing himself. He can plant the seedling to remove his fairiness, but he cannot plant the seedling again to become a fairy. So I have this post on my page at YouTube, and basically it tells you how to do this in a flowchart because it is really hard to keep track of everything that is happening. But depending on whether or not you want the alien portion, you don't have to start with a full alien. You could make this a regular sim. You could also make this one less generation by doing that, but I'm just going to go through all of these quickly. And you start out in Kaz, you have a full alien with the Child of the Islands trait, and then you summon the island spirits, and you have an island spirit that gets you the Sulani mana trait. You have Science Baby, and then this gives you a half alien Sulani mana. You turn that sim into a werewolf. And in Kaz, you need to make another werewolf to have a baby. So you have those two have a Science Baby, which gives you the dormant wolf half alien Sulani mana, who you turn into a spellcaster. Now you also need to go back into Kaz, have a werewolf with a single parent, and make them have a dormant wolf that you turn into a fairy. So with the turn into spellcaster and turn into fairy, you have a Science Baby, and that gives you a werewolf fairy caster with weak bloodline, half alien, and Sulani mana, who has a baby with Grim, which gives you Grimborn, strong bloodline, werewolf, fairy, caster, half alien, Sulani mana. And that person will have a baby with Father Winter, who is a werewolf fairy. And then that gives you your final super sim, who is a super sim conceived in a lighthouse with greater wolfblood, grim descendant, Father Winter's baby, ancient bloodline, fairy, cure all the other occults, half alien, Sulani mana. Now you do have to have Father Winter or your other sim get to a level 4 or 5 dynasty. I'm not sure which one it is, but you have to have all 4 of the different traits: mental, social, creative, and active. And make sure that all of those affinity traits are purchased, then that has to be done at least at the dormant wolf turn into spellcaster, turn into fairy stage, so that you can have 3 children that get you the maximum level of the super sub. So that's it for this time, and we have basically had a trait from all of the occults, except for we don't talk about the plum bird. Yeah, sorry, we don't talk about the plum bird. So does anybody else have any plans of completing a Super Sim challenge? Let me know in the comments if you have any series going. Put the links in the comments to your channel. You can't make actual links, but just comment as your channel name and say, hey, I have a Super Sim series too. And this is Charity. Thanks for watching.